Hold out your hand. I just bought myself a 1999 Honda Civic. That's right, get excited, Ed. Greetings viewers, Eric the Car Guy here, also known as ETCG1 on this channel. And if you recognize what I just did, well, you're cool. If not, check the description. Anyhow, hey, if it's your birthday, happy birthday. It is not my birthday, but I've bought yet another vehicle. This, as I stated, 1999 Honda Civic. Have a look. Yes, it is green. It does need a little help on the headlights, but that's nothing we haven't dealt with before. The paint is a little meh, but what do you want for a car of this age? You know what? Come to think of it, this car is legal. Just saying. Wipers, there's something going on here. I can't remember what it is. I think what it is the little plastic joints that are on the wiper transmission. One of those is probably broken. We also have the crack in the windshield that goes all the way across. And I know somebody who can probably help me out with that also. It does have a few cosmetic things. I mean, the body, for the most part, is okay. But if you come back here to this right rear door, I think one of two things happen. If you look down into this crack right here, you can see that this opening is a little larger than it should be. I'm guessing somebody might have tried to break in and didn't want to mess up the other one. You know, maybe there was a key thing or something, but oddly enough, the electric door lock on this door doesn't work either. So I don't know if that is an actuator problem or if that has something to do with this mess that seems to be happening on this door. But it only seems to be this door that's affected, and looks like the rubber seals are also not quite where they need to be. Missing a hubcap back here. But the tires are brand new, and I'll show you that when we get it up in the air. It's got a boo-boo back here. But as far as boo-boos go, this is like the best case scenario in my opinion, because this is replaceable and this is replaceable. So it's not like I have to do like any real body work. I just need to find those in salvage, and once again, I think I know somebody. This is the LX model, which means it's got some power windows and stuff, but it's not the top of the line one, the EX, which has the sunroof and some other things, but automatic transmission. This side is in much better shape. I mean, really, if you washed it, it would shine up nice and fix that taillight and everything back there. The interior, not too bad. Cloth, not leather. Once again, it's the LX version. And they had kids, so it's got a slight funk to it. But, you know, it's a 99, so it's gonna have some wear and tear on it. It's been around for a little bit. Outside of that, I mean, there's really not much to talk about. It looks like somebody tried to chew their way in around the stereo. I don't know if that had anything to do with that supposed break-in or what. I believe that the AC does work, if I'm not mistaken. I don't quite remember. Mileage is 185, 804, so it's coming up on 200K. It's got a couple of miles on it, but it still runs and drives strong. We'll take it out and drive it here in a bit. For the most part, stuff works. I have made a list of things on it, but why don't we get a look under the hood? And one of the things I need to fix, yeah, that's right, you guessed it, a hood cable. I'm very happy that this vehicle came with its own set of pliers to grab the hood cable there. So what's the theme here, kids? Well, Honda hood cables, they got problems, and the latch itself underneath down there also needs to be addressed, because I believe that is also sticking. So not only do you need to use this pair of pliers to open it, but you also need a screwdriver to move the latch to the point where it will actually latch and close. I'll put a link in the description to a video I did about replacing the hood cable and addressing these problems on an Acura Integra, which is very similar to this vehicle. So you can check that out if you've got a similar problem. Which if you've got a Honda, it's highly likely. Right, it's got a 1.6 liter. Not a bad little engine. I also have videos about me replacing an engine in a very similar vehicle. In fact, it's, I believe, about the same engine. So these are pretty good engines. They do need timing belts occasionally, given the mileage and given the shape of the drive belts. I'm gonna say, why not do a timing belt and water pump swap on this, just for good measure. Also, the hood latch that I was telling you about. See how this part in here and that spring is not extended? Well, you got to push this piece back all the way in order for the hood to close. Battery's new. That's a bonus. Looks like I got a distributor cap and I can assume a rotor. Also some wires and some other tune-up items fairly recently, I think. Remember I mentioned it looked like somebody broke in because maybe they forgot to leave, or maybe they forgot and left the keys inside the vehicle. There should be one key for this whole car that works everything, but I noticed that this one does not seem to go into the trunk lock all that well. Now there's a lever that we can pull to do this, and this does fit the door lock on this side. I haven't really tried it over here yet. Yeah, it works over here. It just doesn't work in the trunk, which is puzzling because Hondas usually just came with the one key and they worked on all the locks. So I'm wondering if at some point there was some kind of incident and this key needed to be changed. But let's have a look inside the trunk, but I got to pull the latch in order to do that. Extra power steering fluid. Looks like we've had to change a tire at some point. Also some extra fluids. It does have a spare. I'm really not sure what that blue stuff is. That's interesting though, isn't it? Whatever that is. Kind of makes you wonder what that was. I mean, it's feathers. It's a mystery. It's a mystery. Okay, let's now examine her tender underbelly. All right, underneath, we're a little leaky. And in particular, we're leaky right here at the power steering rack. Wah, wah, wah. You want to know what's even more disappointing about that? Some of you out there may recognize this car from the video that I did about replacing a power steering rack on a '99 Civic. It was this Civic. And some of you may also know that I put this rack in this car 3 different times because the first 2 racks that I put in were both bad. And I'm not going to name names, but the company that made that rack was AC Delco. And as far as this replacement rack, I don't know who did it, but once again, it's leaking. However, that was, I think, 2 or 3 years ago. Not that that's any excuse, but whatever. These other leaks look like oil pan, possibly rear main seal. They definitely look like oil leaks. But overall, I mean, considering it's got 200,000 miles on it, it's really not that bad. These stabilizer links are getting a little crusty, particularly on this side. Look at this one. This one's basically obliterated. If you look at it through here, yeah, she's no bueno. So that'll probably cause some sort of thumping, clicking noise going around turns. But the tires, all 4 tires on this car are brand new. She wanted $600 for the car. I said, would you take 5 cash? She did. So for me, a running and driving car with new tires on it for $500 is an amazing deal. Now, it looks like somebody replaced this caliper up here on this side. It was not me, but as you can see, they didn't figure out the brake hose, and that's got to be turned around 180. It's kind of kinked up a little too much, but not my work there. And you can compare it to the other side and see a little more about what it should look like. See? So I got to go around the other side and flip this around so that it doesn't have that severe bend there. Going back from the engine, exhaust is fairly new also. I've never seen like any kind of corrugated heat shield on top of a pipe like this. It's the first time I've seen that. That's interesting. It's ribbed for her pleasure. The rest of the exhaust, the muffler, fairly new. I mean, this is not a Honda unit, no. It doesn't matter, I mean, 200,000 miles, but still, it looks fairly good. So I've got a good exhaust. I know the brakes are good. I've gone back here and adjusted these in the past, and there's plenty of friction material left on both sides, and the pads in the front are relatively new. Something else that's a problem on these high mileage Civics and also Integras of this vintage as well are these trailing arm bushings. They can crack and dry rot and sort of have issues like this one is. In fact, they can get so bad to where this entire rubber breaks out of the inside of the bushing and you get this weird squeaking noise around turns. I do have a video on this that I shot actually before I was there at the Car Guy on an Integra. But since then, the methods have certainly improved. I believe there's a special tool to push these bushings in and out. But I'll put a link to that video in the description just so that you can check it out if you want to. I may do an updated version on this car. I'm not really sure. I mean, I did buy it at a fairly low price point, and this is either going to get donated to somebody. I honestly don't know what's going to happen with this car, so I'm not sure how far I'm going to take my investment in time and parts. And of course, as I mentioned earlier, those foggy headlights, which I can easily recondition. I've gotten pretty good at it. Thanks, 3M. Now that we've looked it over, let's take it out for a drive, shall we? Let's take our 1999 Civic out for a drive, shall we? Oh, I gotta tell you, this one here, it's talking to me. It speaks to me. It says, I'm a little four-cylinder that could. No, really. New tires. I mean, come on. Yeah, they're a little noisy. They're cheap, but they're new tires. So how can you pass up a car for $500 that has practically new tires on it? Now, granted, it's not without its issues, but as far as the way it drives, honestly, when I started it up this morning, it had some difficulty starting because I think it has a bad coolant temperature sensor. It flooded out as I was starting it, but to be fair, it was like 20 degrees yesterday, and today it's like 50 almost, and that changes happen pretty quickly. And I'm not trying to make excuses for the car, but what I'm saying is I think that it might be a little confused on what the actual fuel mixture should be. But anyway, I mean, as far as the way it runs and drives, the steering wheel is pretty much straight. Once again, I mean, it's a $500 car that runs, drives, and has new tires. So it's kind of like, well, I'm going to get crude here, so it's kind of like a sore pee-pee. You can't beat it. Now the brakes, nah, they're a little weird because extremely touchy. Now I've adjusted them. I adjusted the rear brakes. These are drum brakes. So they're, especially on gravel, they're a little bit, you kind of got to be careful, but I almost would rather have my brakes being a little hyperactive over being like no effect whatsoever, kind of like the way they are in my truck. But this thing is just the opposite. The brakes are right on. I've done a substantial amount of work to this car over the years, and I've been working to this car. I think they got it back in 2004 or something, and I've been working on it since then. So I've been working on this car for more than 10 years, and I know it pretty well. So it's not a bad car, not a great car. They weren't really good on keeping up on their maintenance. It was usually when something went wrong, they'd bring it to me, I'd fix it, I'd look at it and say, hey, you might be due for this maintenance or that maintenance, and then they would do it. And then I wouldn't hear from them for, a year. But otherwise, I mean, like I keep saying, I mean, this car was a deal that just could not be passed up. Well, there we have it. A running, driving, new tire, new exhaust, 1999 Honda Civic for $500. I really couldn't pass that deal up. I have no immediate plans for the vehicle. I didn't even plan to buy this thing. She just called me up out of the blue and asked me if I wanted it. I said, well, what the heck? And here we are. I already have some videos that I've shot with this, as I mentioned during the course of the video, the power steering rack being one, and there's a couple others I can't quite think of, but I'll put links to those in the description so you can check those out. I'll also put a link in the description to ericthecarguy.com if you have automotive questions. That's where I ask you go. Google+, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, if you wish to connect with me socially. Close each of my videos and be safe, have fun, stay dirty. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Right, now that we've looked it over, let's go out for a test drive. That sounded bad. That was awful.
All of it's bad.
All of it's bad. So. It's all bad. Don't try to save yourself now, Eric. Just drown. Now that we've looked it over, I can't do it.
You're an Australian.
I'm an Australian. Well, now we've looked it over.
So bad.
It's awful.
Just finish.
No.
No.